So the second coming of Christ is one of the most anticipated events in Christian theology. And you hear many doomsayers out there saying the end is near. And I've heard people point to everything from extreme weather events to the invention of the iPhone as being evidence for this prediction. But we're still here, at least for now. So what exactly is supposed to happen when Jesus comes back? What are the signs to look for, and what are the things that are going to take place? And what does the Bible have to say? Let's take a look.
Attention, bargain shoppers.
So Jesus' second coming. In Christian theology, there's basically three different views on this. We have premillennialism, postmillennialism, and amillennialism. Let's break it down. First up, we have premillennialism. This view teaches that Jesus will return before a literal 1,000-year reign on earth. This is known as the millennium. Revelation 20 describes a period of peace on earth, with Christ ruling with his saints. Revelation 20:1-3 says, "And I saw an angel coming down out of heaven, having the key to the abyss, and holding in his hand a great chain. He seized the dragon, the ancient serpent, who is the devil or Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. I saw the man coming round. Kind of sounds like a Johnny Cash song. So premillennialists believe that before this happened, the world will go through a period of great tribulation. Some believe in a rapture where a number of believers will be taken up into heaven before the tribulation begins. And then after the millennium, there's said to be a final rebellion, followed by the ultimate judgment and then the creation of a new heaven and a new earth. So this is the view that I would say is most popular among many evangelical Christians. Next, we have postmillennialism. This teaches that Jesus will return after the millennium. But in this view, the millennium isn't meant to be a literal 1,000 years. Instead, it represents a long era of increasing Christian influence. Postmillennialists believe that the gospel will gradually spread and the earth will become more and more Christ-like. Eventually, after a golden age of Christianity, Jesus will return to do the final judgment. So kind of similar, but just Jesus comes back after the millennium. This is supported by Psalm 2, which says, "I'll make the nations your inheritance, the ends of the earth your possession. You will break them with a rod of iron. You will dash them to pieces like pottery." So this would be a verse used to support the post-millennial view. And then finally, we have amillennialism. And this is the view that the millennium isn't a future event at all. It's happening right now. In this view, there is no future golden age before Christ returns. Rather, good and evil coexist together until the final judgment. Which view is correct? Well, there are really smart theologians who have made arguments for all three of these. When it comes to end of the world stuff, the Bible isn't 100% clear. For example, Jesus was teaching on the Mount of Olives. He was talking about the end of the world, and his disciples come to him in private and ask him, "When is this going to happen? What are going to be the signs at the end of the age?" And here's what Jesus says, Matthew 25. Jesus answered, "Watch out that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, claiming I am the Messiah, and will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains." So some interesting and kind of cryptic imagery here. And then Jesus also talks about what's going to happen when he comes back. We see this in Matthew 24:30 and 31. "Then will appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then all the people of the earth will mourn when they see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. He will send his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other." So I will caution you, dear YouTube watcher, it's easy to take interesting, weird, and slightly cryptic verses completely out of context and run with them. But it's important to keep in mind that we don't really understand what these verses are saying. For example, Matthew 16:28, Jesus says this to his disciples, "Truly I tell you, some of you are standing here will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." And based on this statement, you would definitely be forgiven if you thought that Jesus was saying the Son of Man would come back pretty soon, like within a human lifetime. And his disciples definitely took it this way. Now, what did he really mean? There have been a lot of explanations put forth. Many scholars kind of have settled on that Jesus is talking about the transfiguration. This is something that literally happens in the very next chapter in Matthew, but it's hard to know. Jesus also predicts the destruction of Jerusalem. This is something that was fulfilled in 70 AD, so the future for Jesus and his disciples, but definitely the past for us. So Jesus says things, and it's kind of hard to know sometimes exactly when these future things are going to take place. Whenever we're talking about time and events happening on the scale of human civilization, it can be a little bit of a tricky business, especially when you have a God who sits outside of time, and for him who sees all the past and the future together. The truth is that nobody knows exactly when the end is going to come. We're told this in 1 Thessalonians 5:2. For you yourselves know perfectly well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. So there you have it. I hope you found that interesting. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe. It does help out the channel. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Also, I'll leave the verses used today in the description. My name is Adam. This is Bargain Bin Theology, and remember, you get what you pay for.